Should you edit your videos? I've had a lot of questions recently about that type of thing, and people that are concerned about editing, and that editing is one of the reasons that they believe that they can't make YouTube videos. And they're worried about, firstly, the technical side of it, but also the amount of time that it's going to take. So do you need to edit your videos? In this video, I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to tell you what I think about that. And by the end of this video, you should hopefully have an answer for yourself on whether you want to edit your videos and how much you want to edit them and what style of videos you want to create. So one of the common ways to edit is what we call retention editing. And that is when the video changes all the time. Maybe I've heard 14 seconds, I've heard 4 seconds, I've heard all sorts of stuff. And I recently watched a video that talked about anti-editing and people who don't edit. And yet that video was full of zoom in, zoom out every 5 seconds. And it was jarring to me. It really was unpleasant to watch, I found. Now, that's my personal opinion. And this is where we really come into it. My personal opinion is that I respect people who are good at editing. I enjoy a well-edited video, and I enjoy effects, animations, all that sort of stuff. I enjoy the craft or the art of it, but I have an attention span. I don't need you to entertain me by causing something to change every 14 or 4 seconds or whatever it is. I just don't need that. I mean, right now I'm here sitting under this tarp in the rain, filming this video for you because my house is full of kids. It's holidays for them, and my wife's working at home and all sorts of stuff. So here I am, and I'm just looking at the lake. Now, is this changing every 4 seconds? Not really, but I could sit here for hours and look at this because I have an attention span, and I don't need entertaining, and I don't need somebody to tell me that I need a change every 4 seconds to keep me engaged. So I think you need to ask yourself, what type of content is it you're making and who for? Younger audiences are most likely to have less attention span, perhaps, and I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to offend anybody, and that's not the case for everybody, of course. But it seems that the younger you get, the less attention you have, and it's all this flicking through shorts or Instagram reels or whatever it is that I don't even watch shorts or any of that stuff. I only watch long form. If I see a 6-minute video, that's a short video for me to watch. So I usually watch videos around 20 minutes. So do I need stuff happening all the time? Can I not focus on a simple video for 20 minutes? Yeah, I can. And if I need to, I can always play it at 1.5, 2 times speed. So, I mean, do you want to appeal to the type of person who has no attention span? Now, personally for me on my videos, I don't. And if you're watching this video and you're over 40 like me, and you're creating videos, perhaps you don't care too much about that either. Because you will get comments perhaps saying, that was too slow, or there wasn't enough happening, or whatever it is. But that's that person's opinion. That doesn't mean that everybody thinks that. So how do you assess then, when you're a small YouTuber, what type of video you should make? Well, this becomes a problem because if I give an example of my channel, I have 379 subscribers, I think, at this time of making this video. And I have around 50 videos, just under. And the issue that I have is that when I look at analytics, you can scrub away everything because impressions is the only thing for me at the moment that matters. And I'll tell you why. Impressions are when YouTube puts your thumbnail on somebody's screen for more than a second, and more than 50% of that thumbnail is visible on somebody's screen. So the impression is YouTube showing your video to someone. Now, if it doesn't get shown to anyone, no one can click on it, no one can view it, No one can like, subscribe, comment, or do any of those things if YouTube doesn't show them to somebody. Now, at the start, you'll see that your impressions are probably quite low. Now, I want you to think about it like this. My most popular videos, my, say, top 10 videos, most of them, apart from maybe the top 3, are around 6,700, something like that, impressions. So that's how many times YouTube has shown that video to someone. Now, the issue with that is that if you have a click-through rate of, let's say, 3%, and let's say you get 10,000 impressions, if you have a click-through rate of 3%, that means that you're likely to get, out of those 10,000 impressions, 300 views. Now, 300 views is not a great deal. And that's just people that will click and view your video. Now we have to think about who's actually interested in it and who's actually going to watch it or subscribe or like or whatever, or comment. Who's actually going to engage out of those 300? And this is where you see that things get whittled down smaller and smaller until you really have such a small sample size that it's almost pathetic. So if you make a video like this one here, where you just sit and talk to the camera outside in the rain, probably got dirt on my face from setting up the tarp or something, I don't know. Who cares, right? But if I do a video like this, and then tomorrow I do a video in my studio with jump cuts and transitions and graphics and titles and all sorts of stuff and B-roll, there won't be much of a difference, if any, in who's watching or how many people are watching those videos. And I've actually found that perhaps my engagement is better on videos like this one, where I just sit and talk. And that brings us on to the subject of YouTube getting your videos out there and your channel taking off. So there'll be a time, I have a subscriber, for example, M&J Metal, Marty and James, I think it is. I don't really see James on the videos, I only see Marty. Now, Marty subscribed to my channel. I haven't chatted with him or interacted with him in any way, but he did subscribe, and his channel took off, and he now has 307,000 subscribers or something. And he has the most zero editing, zero professionalism. Sorry, Marty, I don't mean any offense by this. I think your channel's great. But he has zero editing. He even says that in his videos. He doesn't understand editing. He doesn't understand the programs. And maybe subscribe to my channel because I have some editing videos. But he doesn't do anything. No editing. He films on, I don't even know what it is. It's got better, I would say, but it's still terrible quality. Audio is bad. Visuals are bad. But it's Marty and his content that people are there for. And they don't care about the lack of editing. They don't care about the lack of professionalism, if you want to call it that. They don't care about jump cuts or transitions or B-roll or any of that stuff. Because all Marty does is makes videos about metal detecting, gaming, and sometimes beer. And he talks about other things too, but those are his main things. That's what his channel description pretty much says. So if Marty can get to 300,000 subscribers with no editing, if Rob the Maritimer can get to whatever he's on, 80k, if PewDiePie nowadays does very little editing, does a lot of vlogging, there's David Bolan, Mark Waters, there's so many people. I'll link some of them in the description. I'll try and remember to do that. There's so many people who don't edit at all. Now, that's not to say that everybody's production values are bad or anything like that, but it's still possible with bad production values to do great. So the answer really is that there's so many people who don't edit and are successful, that if you think it suits your channel and your audience and who you believe is the person who's going to watch your videos, the person you're trying to help and talk to, then no, you don't need to edit. Now, of course, you can cut out things like silences, you can improve things, you can maybe add in some graphics on the screen if it helps people to understand a point, for example, but you don't need to do that. Because it really is about who your audience is, what they want to see, and how you're going to serve it to them. Serving myself a cup of tea here. And this is one example, right, of something that you can do that does add perhaps a point of interest, because now you guys can watch me pouring out this cup of tea here, English breakfast, of course, and you can then say, okay, well, that's something that's changed in his video. Now, that's nothing to do with editing, it's a prop. And so you don't have to have anything fancy or even a cup of tea in your videos if you don't want to. Because at the start, this is coming back now to the impressions. At the start, when you have nobody watching anyway, and even when you have 369 subscribers like me, you still really have no one watching. And you have that core bunch of people who already support you and already like what you do. And you have to choose what you want to be. What is your channel about? What's its purpose? What's its ethos? What's its feel? Because ultimately, at the beginning, you don't know what's best. You don't know what your people want. You might see other people doing videos and think, okay, that video, like a gaming video, for example, all of those have a lot of editing, so I really need to do a lot of editing. You might be right. But at the same time, is there anybody who's tried to do it without much editing? I don't know. I don't watch a lot of gaming videos. But my point is that you have to decide, because there's no one else there to tell you, especially at the start. And I think you need to see the vision of your channel and the people you want to speak to. And that will be how you drive it forward. Now, I've been guilty of making videos like this one and making quite heavily edited videos. And I'm no pro at editing, that's for sure. But I have enough skills that I can do some things, and I can do all the cuts and transitions and stuff every 14 seconds if that's what people want. But you know what, when I do that, it doesn't feel good. I feel stressed a lot of the time because it's taken a long time. I need to get it out by the end of the day. I've missed my schedule, which I have this week too, because I had my parents over and my kids are off school. So this will be probably my only video this week. But I feel stressed about editing sometimes. I sit there and it's taking so long and I'm only halfway through and I think, oh, I've got another half of this video to do. This sucks. And when I sit there and realise that I don't even know if people want it anyway or care about it, then why am I even doing it? And what I can do instead is create a ton more content with the time that I save by not editing. Now, one of the videos I really enjoyed doing was the one where I asked people, what is your why? And I basically came out and did stuff like this in nature, and I filmed a lot of B-roll and I basically just spoke over it. I enjoyed editing that one because I was creating something that I felt was actually good, or at least something that I wanted to make, and I thought other people might appreciate too, and it seemed to work. But I believe that if you're being creative and you're enjoying the process, then sure, great, go and do your editing. But if you're not, or if you're worried about it, if you're scared to edit, or you don't know how to do it, or you don't understand the technology, I've got videos on it, by the way, if you want to check them out. But if you don't want to do that stuff, it's okay. It's fine. It isn't required. And there'll be an audience, I believe, for everybody's content. The issue you're probably going to have is that YouTube will push some people's content to the right people almost immediately, and other people's content will take a long time. And there really isn't a lot you can do about that little part of it. There are things you can do to improve your chances and all that sort of stuff. But really, it's like buying one lottery ticket or buying 100. You've got more chance of winning if you've got 100. But still, at the end of the day, it's down to an element of luck. And I believe fully that YouTube is down to at least an element of luck. And so I believe that you need to make the videos you want to make, that you can sustain making, and that make you feel good, and that you believe are the right videos for your audience. And if you go too far outside of that and you do stuff that you don't like, you don't appreciate, you don't enjoy, that make you feel bad, or make you feel wonder why you're actually doing it in the first place, then I think you're doing yourself and probably your audience a disservice, because you're making videos for people that you don't even want to watch them. So I haven't noticed the difference on my channel between editing a lot and not. In fact, I would say that I probably have, and it's in favour of not editing so much, of doing things like this. So sure, you can improve things, your thumbnails, your titles, all that stuff. But whether someone's actually going to stick around and watch a video is based on the style that you have. And you have to decide what style that is that you think is best. Don't make videos for other people that don't even probably want to watch your stuff anyway. Make them for the people like you who want to see the real you. So if you really do want to edit, if you are stuck and you think you need to do some sort of editing, what you can do is you can pick a few very simple techniques that add something, that break things up a little bit, but don't make people jump around all over the place and do all crazy stuff, if that's not your thing. So pick 4 or 5 transitions, titles, title screens, graphics, overlays, whatever it is that you think might break things up, and use those. And that's what I tend to do in a lot of my videos. I have a certain coloured background on the screen when I have text talking about something that needs maybe something more visual to make it more digestible. But you don't need to go crazy on it. And ultimately, you don't need to do it at all. So I hope this has been some sort of help to you thinking about your journey. And I think if you're worried about editing or you're concerned about it, you should go out there and check out people like M&J Metal and the other people that I'll list in the description, because those people are doing this thing with little or no editing and they're killing it. And you could too. I hope that's been helpful. Take care. See you in the next one.